Alrighty guys, what is going on? Welcome back to the Ironman. Today we're going to start things off with the thieving level. Haven't been here for a bit, but there is 96. We got 3 more levels to go. At the end of last episode, I was pleasantly surprised with a certain drop from a superior creature, and I wanted to show you something really quick. For those who didn't see it, we will check in with the bank now. We got ourselves our first eternal gem, and the funny thing about this is that a long time ago, I made a bunch of Slayer rings, and it just so happened that I've literally only got one left. I probably had hundreds of these things over the past few months, and the fact that I've only got a couple left as I get the eternal gem, I guess the timing couldn't be any more perfect than it is. So that's the first thing we're going to do today, make ourselves an eternal ring. For those who do not know, it is basically a Slayer ring that will never run out of charges. It is an eternal ring after all, so we can get rid of these things, never have to use them ever again, and have ourselves a permanent upgrade. I think Prif is as good a place as any to make myself this upgrade. I know it can be a little bit disappointing if you get yourself an eternal gem as opposed to the heart. It can be quite discouraging for some, but for me personally, I don't mind it. If I get a second one, I guess I will cry myself to sleep, but in the meantime, I'll be quietly content with this upgrade here. Now to make sure it still works, very good, we can still teleport around, very nice. I wanted to check in with the bank here, because in our last episode we did over 1000 muspa. As a result, we have a bunch of smithing resources that I think will be easily enough to get us to 99 smithing. Even if I were to not use the giant foundry, which I still will, I think I'm definitely going to have enough addy and enough rune to get all the way to 99 no matter what I do. I could really piss the bed here and still succeed, which is a good feeling. So to start things off today, we're going to take these ores to the blast furnace and make all of these ores into their bar variants, and I think we'll go to the giant foundry after that and cap off another 99. With that said, that's going to take quite a few hours, I suppose, but you know, the experience rates once we do have them converted into bars will still be pretty good. And come to think of it, Muspa also dropped a lot of gold as well, so I think the first thing I'm going to do is actually use all of this gold ore first. If you look at the EHP rates on something like Wise Old Man or Temple, I think converting gold into bars via the blast furnace is the way to do that as efficiently as possible. So whilst I have the resources, I might as well put them to use, and 14,000 gold, that's going to get us fairly deep into 98, I believe. So from there, we can just make some runite bars, addy bars, and just a little bit of giant foundry to cap off the skill. You'll have to forgive the slight detour in gameplay experience right now. I'm going to get myself a fish before I get into the giant's foundry, and if an anglerfish ever decides to catch, you'll see why. There is 99 fishing the day that Yama is released. I've spent so much time catching anglerfish, and then they just go ahead and release some new worms that make anglerfish fishing even better. So I guess my journey is not over in this space, but the levels will no longer continue to trickle in. But if I ever do feel like buying it, I can get myself a fishing cape, unlock a pretty handy teleport. I like this little update. You can kind of stick around onto a fishing spot without needing to click. And if I'm totally honest, I kind of just wanted 2250 total level. We've been sitting close to 99 fishing for a little bit, so there it is. I now no longer have any excuse to procrastinate before I do my smithing grind, so I shall get into that now. As I'm doing my blast furnace, I'm trying to look for opportunities where I can buy out the gold ore from the shop. It's a shame that you can only buy 100 at a time, and it's also like shared with a bunch of other people, but my kind of broad goal is to try and stretch out the ores that I have so I can stay here as long as I possibly can, and that's just one way I'm aiming to do that. But there is 98 smithing. What do we got? 1.2 mil until 99. I really want to see how close I can get to 99 without actually leaving this place. I have quite a selection of ores, and I think over time, as I'm making these all into bars, if I keep buying some of the gold ore, I might be able to get quite close. I think I'll get at least halfway, but I guess only time will tell. As you can see, the gold ore is fully taken out. I only took one inventory's worth myself. I'm really glad that I picked up the muscle memory, I suppose, to do my herb runs frequently, because a lot of accounts, I'll just skip farming altogether. This time we've made a bit of an exception, and we're going to get ourselves, for the very first time, 99 farming. And this is definitely a skill cape that I'm excited to get. This one will give me multiple perks. I think the perk I'm most excited for is simply the teleport. Just getting to the farming guild has been such a struggle, and I've really wasted a lot of time just running around the map. But in addition, I think they work in a similar fashion to the secateurs, the farming cape that is, and if it is in your inventory, I think you also get extra yield from the herbs that you harvest, or any other plant matter for that matter. But the only one that really matters is, of course, the herbs. That's the one we're going to be using for the most part. On occasion, the secondaries also do come into play, but this herb run is not even finished, and I'm going to get myself a skill cape so I can yield even more than I would have gotten otherwise. I believe there is multiple NPCs that sell this cape, but the only one that I can really think of off the top of my head is Martin over here. So if we have a little chat with this bloke, let's go grab ourselves one of these for the very first time in my entire life, unless my memory is absolutely terrible. The first time I get to show off this little emote. Very nice. Flowers are very cool. I'm going to buy myself a second one. I don't know, just having one doesn't feel like enough. So let's grab this second one here. Very good. 2 farming capes, and we can use it for the first time to actually get into the farming guild. This is going to be much better than running around with the Artie cloak. Let me tell you that much. But yeah, if it's incorrect to state that this just needs to be in your inventory to proc and give you extra herbs, let me know, because it's the sort of thing that I will kind of go off the assumption of, and if it's not corrected, I'll just, it'll just chill in my inventory for the rest of the time, and I'll actually never get the benefit of it. But I'd be very surprised if that mechanic differed in the same way that the secateurs would. That would be quite an inconsistent behavior pattern for that one. But I might end up just wearing it because it simply looks good. There's no arguing that. To my surprise, I was just reading the wiki page, and my understanding is it actually does need to be equipped, which is kind of strange. With the Slayer cape, you can keep it in your inventory, so I thought, following that logic, you could probably keep this one in there as well, but apparently not. Look, the wiki could be wrong, I could be misinterpreting it, but from what I'm reading, I could keep the secateurs in my inventory, but the cape needs to stay on my back. Very interesting. Since I last came to the Giants Foundry, Jagex have updated things. If you now click on the blue hitboxes during the smithing phases, you can actually repair some of the degradation you might have lost. So that's been a nice little quality of life upgrade, but it's no matter. I will not need to make any more swords for myself because we have ourselves another 99 this video. This time 99 smithing coming in hot. We can now make rune plate bodies, I think. I think it's level 99 you get to make rune plate armor. Very, very good indeed. But the skill cape, not sure if we're going to buy this one, but still very happy to have this one under my belt. I think I'm going to go celebrate my 2 new 99s with some Slayer. I'm kind of fiending for that lately. I keep getting superiors, and every time I get one, now that I've got the Eternal Gem, I have that feeling that I'm going to get myself a heart. So I'm going to get into that, maybe just after a herb run. Let's find out once and for all if my hunch is absolutely immaculate or if it's not worth a piece of shit. It's okay, it is worth absolutely nothing. I think it's becoming painfully obvious to myself that killing abyssal demons with a venom bow, whilst it is enjoyable, the whole teleporting around the place isn't the most enjoyable thing in the world. And I've come to a conclusion. I need to bite the bullet, and I actually need to do my Wildy diaries. I know, I didn't think I'd get them done either, but at the very least, I think I just need the mediums done, which shouldn't be too bad. I'll be surprised if I ever get the elite done, but I guess we're going to have to fill in this gaping hole because teleporting around this room like this is just obnoxious. I think I'm losing a lot of ticks as well because you kind of lose aggro if you get teleported. You need to retaliate once again to shoot. So I think in the long run, this will be a band-aid that is definitely worth ripping off right now rather than in, 6 months' time or even worse. I'm simultaneously embarrassed and thankful this man is going to hook me up. I think. Let's see if he takes me to the right spot. We need to go to 27 Wildy. We need to check out the God Wars dungeon. Let's see. Where are we going to go, Mr. Lunchman? 27 it is. What a beast. Thank you, thank you. Oh my god. I find it kind of insane that I'm only unlocking wilderness music tracks at this point in my account. Like, I know I don't go to the wilderness much, but come on. There's no way I don't have that music track already. It is time to do the easy and the medium diaries. Fantastic. I never thought this day would ever come. But the main purpose of getting these 2 things is my understanding is that the zombie pirates, they don't actually really drop much of their loot unless you get up to this point in the diaries. I think it's meant to combat botting. I don't really like when botting is like an excuse for gameplay to be warped like that. Like, having it locked behind diary content just because bots exist, a little bit weird if you ask me, but it is now time to head out into the wilderness with the Venator bow. I think my setup is just going to be very much rags. I'm going to grab some monk robes, tops and bottoms, a Venator bow, and maybe just some mithril arrows that I have a stupid amount of. I think you also need to bring yourself some stamina pots, but this is pretty much what I'm going to look like. unless I make some adjustments. So yes, a homeless man with a purple bow with a dream of a teleport scroll. So I've done, I don't know, 30, 45 minutes of this. I've just been running around like an idiot with the Venator bow, running around in a clockwise motion. I am teleblocked from that far away. Very cool. We now have 25 zombie pirate keys. It's a sort of thing that I don't think probability is in my favor in this moment, but I also don't want to overstock on a bunch of keys and end up getting the scroll nice and early. So maybe every 25, maybe every 50, that sort of ballpark amount. I can go check in with these keys, see if I can spoon myself a teleportation stopping scroll. But yeah, so far, no PKs. I've had to run away a few times, but honestly, I don't know if I was just being a little too skittish, but in any event, not dead yet, and even if I die here, I think it'll be alright. I have, like, no escape. You can just tell I don't do wildy stuff. I've seen people with, like, ZGSs or blighted sacks. Maybe you could freeze people and log out under them, but I don't think it's going to work for me. I think I'm just going to tank test if I actually need to do anything. I also haven't brought a looting bag, which is really good, I've just realized. So anyway, I'll get stuck into looting these 25 keys and see if I can get myself anything respectable. Not looking great at this point. 1 key to go. Never lucky. I will definitely need to bring myself a good old looting bag next time. Luckily, it was only 25 keys. I just can't be bothered kind of going all the way back and grabbing one. But I guess I need to log out and allow myself to not be teleblocked anymore. I think I'll be walking away from that one. We had a nice little system. I'd sit out in the southeast, he would sit up north, and unfortunately, my fellow Ironman is going to perish. I've rebound my venom sacks to be back to the point where a left click is an eat, and that could purge the venom without wasting my my potion doses, which is nice. Needed to get out of the wilderness, it's too hot right now. Hopefully we get ourselves a few more superiors this task. I got Arania boots. With only 1 Araxite left to kill, this bad boy has spawned. My wish is fulfilled. I'm praying mage for some reason. I'm very surprised I didn't die. I think that might have protected me, ironically, against the special attack. I'm actually not sure. 2 superiors at task. Hopefully the wilderness has calmed down a little bit. I feel like, you know, an hour or so. It's kind of enough time for things to settle down. So we'll get back out there and test our luck. I think I'm sitting at about 20 keys at this point. I'd like to get maybe 30 plus, I'm not sure. Going out there with 20 just seems like a bit of a waste of time, but we'll see. And this time, you know, I'll bring myself a looting bag, so the looting experience will be a little less dog shit. Although, whilst I'm at a bank, I recently got myself 3,000 Ultra Compost. It is time we fill up this bucket, and that should be good for... Wait, have I hit like the max limit or something like that? I didn't realize there was. Maybe I just didn't hit all the numbers at the same time. 6.1k charges, that is such a nice number to see. 99 farming and 6,000 compost to go. That is going to take a while to get through. At least I hope it does. I love this game sometimes. Looks like we're going to get ourselves the old back-to-back thanks to the cape. It's a bit on the low end, but it's a free task. I will definitely take it. I don't think I've actually had the cape proc a whole lot of times with the Araxite, so it's a nice change of pace. I feel like my luck is kind of good today. It is time for round number 2. This is a 1 in 275 chance, so with 55 keys, luck needs to be pretty good, but it's not an impossible task to try and unlock this now. 2 keys left to go. Things are not looking like they're going in my favor this time around. The mechanics in this space is weird. It feels like if you drop something, it just does not last on the floor as long. Either that or somebody's logging and looting my stuff invisibly and then going away. Alright, looks like there was no luck for us this time around. I'm sure we've got a bunch of stuff in the looting bag, but the only thing I realistically want is the anchoring scroll. Anything else is superfluous. I don't actually need anything else in here. If we have a look in here, the loot is kind of good. It's probably going to be useful for like wildy content, but you probably know my stance on the wilderness at this point, so I don't know how much utility I'll personally get from this stuff here, but if I do need to go in the future, at least I have an absolute crap ton of blighted restores and blighted food. Round 3, 40 keys. Gimme, gimme, gimme. Come on, last key. That is just not it. Man, I trusted you round 3. I had high hopes for this one. I think I'll avoid taking any more than that. I notice if I get a full inventory, it's such a pain. So I think maybe, yeah, 30, 40 keys, somewhere in that ballpark. It doesn't seem too much of a hot spot. I haven't had to tele or log out from that spot, so I guess if there's one thing to be grateful for, I haven't had to fight for this too much. This would be an absolute nightmare if it was hectic out in the wilderness. So far, so good. What on earth is that? I'll take it. I just don't know if it's any rarer than the teleport scroll. Cheers, I guess. There we go. There's so much crap on... Oh, wait. That's not there we go. That's a zombie champion scroll. Oh man, I got so baited just then. I know that drop probably means something to someone, but that drop means absolutely nothing to me. I thought this was over. God damn. I'm feeling cranky now. I think I'm going to take whatever keys that I have and hope for the best. I think I've probably got in the ballpark of 30 or 40. It's really hard to tell. 20? No, wait a minute. 30 precisely is the answer to that. 30 keys. Fingers crossed we can actually get the scroll that I'm looking for on this next trip. Alright, I admit it, this chest doesn't really like me by the looks of things. I kinda don't want to know the drop rate of this thing. I don't know why, but it feels like that shield left half sent out a Batman signal and it was all hands on deck for PKs at the wilderness, but that's okay. We managed to narrowly avoid that situation, but I was in a familiar situation here. I recall being on the other end of this where a vampire was attacking me and I was a damsel in distress. I feel like I've completed the circle of life now that I've saved another person. I think you have to do it at least once in your RuneScape career, is fend someone away from a vampire, but unfortunately my good deed was met back in the wilderness with a swift death. I tried to send for help, but 18 character strokes later on my keyboard, the words just simply did not come out. But in a somewhat karmic, roundabout way, I was rewarded with another pair of Urania boots. While things are cooling off in the wilderness, I thought I'd get stuck into a bit of Slayer here, done myself quite a few tasks. If I do end up dying in the wilderness, I don't want to set a pattern, because I feel like if I die once, like the difference between dying 0 times and dying once is that if you die that first time, you might get continually sniped over and over again, so I tried to vary when I go into the wilderness, what worlds I use, etc., but regardless, I have myself a double Araxite task. Both of these tasks are a bit of a low ball towards that lower 200 threshold, but I'm very grateful to have 2 of them here. The chance at a heart is somewhere in the ballpark of around 1%, I think is the statistic if you use the Bracelets of Slaughter. That might be for 250 Araxites, but regardless, having over 400 right now, that gives me, you know, a little over 1.5% chance, perhaps, I don't know, mathematics is not my strong point. But in any case, I'll have a good chance of getting the heart once again, and that's always something to celebrate. So I think once I die one more time in the wilderness, that will prompt me to go on a double spider adventure, and who knows, maybe I get myself an anchoring scroll and a heart. One can dream. By some small miracle, I didn't die in the wilderness. With 34 keys to go, I think we might actually go over the drop rate. If none of these keys are successful in dropping the anchoring scroll, at 275 we will officially be at the dry mark, so hopefully we do not have to cross that bridge, but as I'm speaking right now, I'm not feeling too confident. There's the 275 right there, we are officially dry. This is not a grind I expected to go dry on, and it's kind of my nightmare scenario. Anything in the wilderness, I'm allergic to it severely. So this is kind of stressing me out, man. If I could get this anchoring scroll sooner rather than later, I'll be able to sleep easier at night, but it looks like today we're not successful in our journey. I'm really hoping this doesn't take too long. Out of all the things to go dry for, man, this is not the thing that I want. After spending a copious amount of time in the wilderness, I've come to the Arty rooftop to feel a semblance of safety. It's a bit strange to say, but agility has served as my emotional safety blanket over the last few hours, which is something I'd never thought I would have envisioned for my future, but because I've been up here for hours like a scared cat up in a tree, I've got myself an agility level, 95 to be specific, and I feel like with each increasing level of this skill, the chances that I ever visit the hallowed sepulchre get lower and lower, but who knows, there's still time. Agility is a slow skill, and at some point I'm going to have to stop procrastinating new content. Oh, I forgot my keys again. Save my miserable soul. Good God. In any case, the cat has crawled down from the tree. We now have 45 keys to open. I think I'll just have to grab myself a dueling ring and send it back there. I'm so skittish. Anytime I see someone in the wilderness, it's like my heart rate just goes boop. We're no longer in the double digits. Who needs to be in the double digit heart rate when you can have a massive spike over, next to no loot worth of investment? It's a little different when you've got 45 keys to your name, I suppose. But yeah, there's currently another iron... Oh, I don't want to get teleblocked here. That would actually be terrible. Good thing is, I guess, is that if you do get teleblocked, you can just log out and then log back in and it will be purged. But as I was about to say, there is currently another Ironman going for a scroll right about now. I think that's what his plan is, so I thought I might as well, while banking, use my keys that I have, and maybe I don't need to get back there at all. Maybe he can have that place all to himself and continue to get rushed by random PKs from time to time. I don't know why I'm praying melee right now. My brain just turns to scrambled eggs when I'm out in the wilderness. I don't know why. But anyway, 45 keys. Wish me luck. No way, bro. Alright, I'm just getting out of here. I think if it goes into my looting bag, what ends up happening is if I die, I'm guaranteed to lose it. This is the only thing I need. So we are getting out of Dodge ASAP. Thank you very much. Get that out of that looting bag right now. Ironically, my bank is entirely full and I can't actually bank the scroll. Good God. I think we can afford to get rid of this Slayer ring somehow. Let's take that bad boy right now. I want to learn this immediately and go do myself an Abbey Demon Slayer task. Let's have a little read of this scroll right now. What is the message here? We're definitely going to choose Become Immune. There it is. No more zombie pirates need to be slain. The Iron Man can have the throne to himself. Best of luck to that man out there. But yeah, that's huge. Now I can do my Abyssal Demons tasks, go AFK, and not come back to me being in the other side of the room and accidentally crashing somebody else. I'm so glad to be done with that. Holy shit. Well, you know how my bank's full and everything. I might as well use these keys and then get rid of the slot entirely, right? Let's see what we get from this. One more key to go, and I can officially wipe my hands clean of that content. I probably could have picked up those rune maces, but that is... no matter, they are gone. Don't need to worry about those anymore. I want to quickly check in with some of the loot that I would have got during this journey. A lot of the blighted stuff is just like, look at that amount, like such a stupid quantity of various resources. I guess I'm set for almost life, perhaps, when it comes to wieldy content. There's a lot of other dragon weapons and stuff like that. Some of it may have came from other sources, but yeah, can't be too sure. I could whack on a screenshot. I might do that of all the loot that I got out of both the zombie pirates as well as from the chest, aka null apparently. Now obviously I wouldn't have looted all of this on the ground. I left a lot of it and I also died a couple of times. So yeah, weird content. It's strange that it exists. But I'm just glad to wash my hands of it because wieldy content, not my forte. But Abyssal Demons just got a hell of a lot better. Bro, why do I keep getting these? Whether it be the boss or the baby ones, just Araxite heads out the arse. Man, that occult necklace drop is such a bait to see it on the ground as soon as the superior dies. I don't even think it was from the superior. I'm in amongst a double devil task at the moment. This will be task 1 of 2. It's about to wrap up. So only one superior this task, unless with 5 remaining, we get something special, but likely not going to happen. No superior that time, so it looks like we got 1 in total between 2 tasks. I always get so excited if I have the double devils, and then, yeah, this one's a bit of a disappointment. Normally it's quite rare that I'll get a double devil smoke task, but I've gotten 2 of these, again, in amongst some Araxites, before I've gotten an Abyssal Demon task. I spent so long trying to get that scroll so I don't teleport around the place. I've gotten so many tasks that aren't Abyssal Demons, despite them being, what, the highest weighted creature on the entire list, but... guess I can't complain. Smoke Devils and Araxites, they are definitely the highest priority monsters to do. I just, in this niche scenario, want to test out this no teleportation Abyssal Demons. But anyway, Double Devils it is. The Devils themselves weren't exactly spectacular, but inevitably I did get myself an Abyssal task, and I can confirm it is a very enjoyable experience. Reclined, f***ing hell, my alarm's going off. Between the Venator Bow and the Dragon Hunter Lance, quite a few of my latest Slayer tasks have been much easier, whether it be a typical type of dragon. I probably should have grabbed the Lance for this particular part, but I kind of oscillate between ranged and melee. I still enjoy the bow for it's a bit more chilled, but if I've just had an Adamant Dragons task and I've got my lance out, I'll do my Black Dragons task down here in melee. So yeah, I don't really have a preference. Both is probably easier, but the Hunter Lance is probably a little bit faster. But in any case, there is another task down. I've done quite a few this video. I've kind of lost track, but there is one thing I want to unlock, and that is the Abyssal Demons extension. I didn't actually mean to get a task just then, but I have been kind of putting this off. I have never been like 100% sure if I want to extend my Abyssal Demons, but I think now that I've got the Venator Bow, I've pretty much solidified this task as one of my favorites. Whether it be Smoke Devils, Araxites, or Abyssal Demons, those are my top 3. So of course, if it's in my top 3, I'm going to extend that. And because the Abyssal Demon task is so highly weighted, it also like makes a big impact because I see the task simply more often than I see others. But yeah, been enjoying doing Slayer over the last few days. I feel like my RNG has been alright in terms of task distribution. We'll use this Venator Bow once again for the Araxites, but we're down to 1200 points here. I've used a lot of skips, and I think if I ever get to the point where I'm quite low, that's the point where I'll start Tyrael skipping. So hopefully we can get to the 1000 mark before that happens. I'll probably kind of force that to occur because I'm kind of curious to see how much I'll get. It's probably only the standard 100 increment bonus, but it would be cool to get the 1000 just for the milestone before we kind of reset it back to nothing. But anyway, it is time once again to go and do myself an Araxite task. I'm no longer using any form of melee for this. I was bringing the Noxious Halberd, but yeah, the Venator Bow, it's just, I don't know, in any circumstance where I can use this thing effectively, it is my preference. So very glad that I got it unlocked. And yeah, here's hoping it can contribute to a nice, easy AFK heart-gathering experience. I actually have no idea how many of these boots I have these days. Last time I checked I had about 8, but I get the feeling I'm around at least 5 more pairs since then, so I don't know what the drop rate like average is, but I feel like I'm getting these more than is normal. It'd be nice if I could transfer that RNG into, you know, superiors spawning and certain drops occurring, but apparently not. We're just gonna have to open a shoe store or something like that. Okie dokie, task complete. We now have 14 pairs of Arania boots, and hopefully we can get ourselves an extended Abyssal Demon task. The reason why I really like this task nowadays is because a lot of my skills are 99s, things like Karambwans just aren't an option these days. I can obviously go fish them, but the utility is kind of limited. I don't need any more than 100 and whatever thousand I have. There's kind of, yeah, we've reached a certain amount where any more is unnecessary, I dare say. But I guess Abyssal Demon's not going to rear their head this time around, but I'm always happy to be sent right back to the spiders. And who knows, maybe we get pair of boots number 15. Looks like I've unfortunately used my final bracelet of slaughter as well. So after this task, I guess we'll have to get back into the mines once again. That Oathplate armor looks sick. I'll have to get into Yama sometime soon. I kind of feel like in this very moment, this like it calls me. I must go and do that boss at some time in the near future. I've seen too with Yama that Mage is quite effective, so if we can get ourselves the Imbued Heart upgrade, I think that would really come in clutch there. And I've totally forgot to bring any form of anti-venom. How did I know that was just almost guaranteed to happen? Number 15. I'm just going to stop counting at this point. I'm going to have more pairs of Arania boots than Abyssal Whips at this rate. I've got about 50% the boot count that I do the whip count. But I guess with the recent extension, I guess that ratio might get thrown out of whack. It's funny, whenever I get a superior like this, I want to like clear up the items on the floor because if I do get myself a heart drop, I don't want it to be such an ugly clip that I just don't see it on the ground in amongst all the crap. Like, obviously, I'll see the loot beam, but I just don't want it to look gross amongst, like, an absolute pile of shit. So if I do get myself a heart drop, I want it to look clean on the floor, you know, not kind of littered with crap all the way next to it. Let's find out, is this going to be... No, it's not going to be the heart drop. I've killed 61 of those superiors, and I think it's got something in the ballpark of about a 1 in 200 drop, something like that. Actually quite generous, so, yeah. The more of those superiors we kill, the closer we get. That is absolutely what I'm talking about. That right there. Give me that all day long. The reason why I find this task so good is, like, there's a few different reasons. Like, obviously, it is quite AFK. I can probably demonstrate that in a moment. But unlike Iraq sites, I don't need to use any cannonballs. I also don't need to use the bracelets of slaughter. Obviously, I could use them. I just don't feel the need. 250 abyssal demons, with or without those bracelets, it doesn't really matter. The quantity of these tasks I shall receive, it doesn't feel like a huge necessity to make that happen. The one downside, I guess, is actually finding a world. That might be the biggest gripe I have with it. But once you do find a world, all you really need to do is kick back and relax. Obviously, if it's like on your second monitor, just keep your prayer up from time to time, and the bow pretty much keeps you in combat most of the time. Obviously, keep tabs as you go, but this is the one thing that I have left that is like truly the closest thing to an AFK experience that I can rely upon. The only problem is that I don't have 24/7 Abyssal Demon Slayer tasks, so whenever I do receive them, I'll be happy to have them. I can like edit videos or do whatever. And I can also do it without using any crucial resources like cannonballs, runes, or the slaughter bracelets as well. So it's kickback, it's AFK time, it's not expensive at all, and the superior chance is kind of decent in terms of getting myself a heart from the superior if it does indeed spawn. It also won't venom me to death, which is good. And if I'm AFK, the Venator Bow will aggro the superior, and I won't have those instances where I come back to my computer, realized I've had a superior, and it's simply despawned. It is kind of strange that I would actually pick Abyssal Demons over Necreals these days, because experience isn't really what matters to me, because the drops necessarily aren't what I'm going for. It's simply that one track, one kind of goal. That heart is the only thing I care about, and Abyssal Demons, lo and behold, are a pretty good option. After training a bunch of Slayer over the last few days, we've been doing a lot of intermittent birdhouses. I also did a little bit of herbivore one night, and because of that, we've got ourselves 97 Hunter. Such a nice little level to get. I kind of forget Hunter's a skill. It's kind of like 97 birdhousing in some sense, and then I just remember, oh yes, Hunter, an actual skill in RuneScape, not just a vehicle for birdhouses. So we've only got 2 levels to go. I might do a little bit more of the herbivore. I kind of find it chill to do on the phone. There's like a in-game sort of RuneLite-esque way to make it easier, which is cool. So it's kind of chill, kind of AFK, and it also will help me get closer to my herblore objective as well, although it could be argued that that is kind of negligible. I think herbivore is like, what, 2k, 3k herblore experience an hour, but the hunter experience is actually pretty reasonable, so I'll probably do a little bit of that in amongst the birdhouses from time to time. Every time I run out of these topaz, I grit my teeth and do this for as long as I can possibly muster. I've been doing this all morning. I think I've got about over 100 topaz. I'm not, I wish there was a way to source these other than these gem rocks. I did look into it a little bit. It seems like the only alternative may be Tempros, but from a gems per hour perspective, I don't think it's anything crazy, but a bit of an upside is that I believe I'll also get the gem requirements for the Amulets of Chemistries. I've not been using that upgrade that I got from the Mixology minigame. That one's always just hard to remember for some reason, but I'll be able to replenish that supply. I just kind of only use the Amulets of Chemistry for pretty much exclusively super restore pots. I don't even have 100. Oh, that is so grim, but because I've got myself a bunch of, is it opals or jades? I don't know, one of the two. I've got a bunch of both, so I think I'll have my bases covered. So I'm going to take all of the gems that I've gotten this morning, take them over to the furnace, and take advantage of the fact that I'm on the standard spellbook and enchant a bunch of slaughter bracelets as well as amulets of chemistry, I suppose. I still need somebody to explain to me why wearing a 99 crafting cape does not stop you from crushing basic level gems. Why does this happen, Jagex? What are you doing to me, son? These topaz aren't fun to get, and I sure as hell don't like watching them break, especially when I'm 99 crafting. I think to add insult to injury, it was the very first one I attempted to cut into a gem. So for reference, I'm just cutting up some jades right now. Level 13 crafting it takes to be able to cut them, and I'm breaking multiple of them per inventory. It's kind of crazy, to be honest. I think Jagex is all about the quality of life these days. I think there's, many examples where things have gotten a lot easier over time. And to be honest, I think this is almost a necessity. At a certain point, if your crafting level is high enough, surely you stop having the ability to crush a basic level gem into dust. I swear, Prif almost feels more like Zenaris than Zenaris sometimes. These forestry events are so goofy, man. I just, out of nowhere, I'll be not concentrating on the screen, and I'll hear a bunch of sound effects that make absolutely no sense, and then I look over, and sure enough, it's Zenaris 2.0, just having a field day. Prior to completing this herb run, we have completed all of our amulets of chemistry, as well as all of our bracelets of slaughter. Now that I think about it, these amulets of chemistry, they give you, 50 charges inside the herb lore amulets? And what that roughly equates to, I believe, is 50 doses of a potion, aka 12.5 full dose potions. So, actually, as I look at the amulet now, we've got 4.2k charges, which means the amulets only give me 10 charges per thing. With that said, I think we'll probably just stick to what we're doing before. For some reason, when you buy this thing from the Mixing Mixology reward shop, you get 50 charges. So for some reason, I had it in my brain that each amulet of chemistry would give you an extra 50 charges. That is indeed not the case. It appears to only be 10, so I think for me it'll be pretty much limited to, super stores, prayer pots, and potentially ranging pots if I ever find myself a source of wine of Zami. Maybe that changes, but honestly, 10 charges per amulet, not the greatest, but still pretty decent, I suppose. But anyway, those amulets of chemistry were kind of like the side product of doing all that gem mining. The main thing I'm interested in is the bracelets of slaughter. We now have 92 of those, so hopefully this lasts until we get the imbued heart, and so I can never make them again, essentially. I can't think of any circumstance where you'd still need those bracelets after you've gotten every single drop that you require from Slayer, unless it's a drop I can't think of, but who knows. Let me know, if you've got everything you need from Slayer, do you still make your bracelets of slaughter? Because to be honest, if you don't, that'll be quite the relief. I'll probably just make these 100 at a time, because it's the sort of thing where it's kind of like stocking up with keys, right? Like, you don't want to get too many and then get spooned on the drop. To be fair, 23 mil Slayer experience, I don't think I'd realistically be that spooned, but it would be good to know that I'd never use them again. Perhaps if you're like grinding hardcore for XP, which I wouldn't be doing, maybe that would have a place for it. Things like Necryls, they obviously benefit from extending the tasks because they're just simply a shit ton of experience. But for me personally, I'm just going for an item, so once I've got it, I don't think I'll need to make them anymore. But I guess in the end, I'm kind of getting ahead of myself. I'm trying to like justify not doing the thing I don't want to do ever again before I've even got the objective that I'm aiming to receive. So anyway, I got myself a Necryl task, speaking of the devils, or the Necryls specifically, so we're going to get stuck into that. And I'm a little bit disenchanted with this monster, not going to lie. I had a look at the superior drop rate of the imbued, and it's about a 1 in 440. So in terms of like, if I really want to gun down and get this heart, Necryls, I don't think they're the way to go. They're not absolutely terrible, but at the same time, they're no Araxites, they're no Abyssal Demons, and they're certainly not Smoke Devils. So I'm no longer going to be using Bracelets of Slaughter to kill these ones specifically. I just don't feel like they're worth it. So yeah, I keep it pretty bare bones when I go and do myself this task. Although I do feel the pain of still having a drum and stuff, so maybe I'll have to finish up the diaries and get that fixed, because, yeah, I just feel like I'm using old content for far too long. I don't think you see too many 2200 total players still rocking the drum and stuff everywhere they go. After we finished up our Necryls, it was back to sniping out my top 3 Slayer tasks, that being the Abyssal Demons, the Araxites, 250 in this example, as well as the Smoke Devils. So over the last few days, just trying to camp those 3 tasks, getting some drops that are kind of useful, some not so much, but we're getting a little bit more lucky with superiors from the Araxites lately. I feel like it's really hot and cold. Sometimes I might have a task where I get 3 or 4, maybe even 5 superiors, and then I'll just go completely dry for a long time, but that's RNG, I suppose. But we're adding more and more boots to the collection and getting ourselves 950 tasks complete. A nice little bonus 300 points there. Every bonus task that I get kind of extends how long it's going to be until I start Tyrael skipping, but yes, we're never going to run out of Arania boots. We will, however, run out of Slayer points at some point, but fortunately managed to get a back 3 back with the Slayer KP on the Smoke Devils. Couldn't actually believe it, but in the end, after those were all complete, I also managed to get quite a few Abyssal Demons into my backpack as well, which gave me some much needed AFK time. My goal of this video was to replicate the ending of last video. Instead of an internal gem, however, I wanted a heart on the floor, but today, I've once again been humbled. RuneScape has reminded me that you cannot control the outputs, You can merely control the inputs. And the inputs we've provided today are a full 50,000 charges of a Venator bow. We've got this thing from 100 to 0 in one video. We've got about 4 to 5 million Slayer experience, and yet there is no beating heart on the floor. But that is okay. Our goal, it may need to go back into the oven and cook a little longer because, yeah, we're a little bit raw, so to speak, when it comes to imbued hard drops. But we've got the foundation in place. The Venator bow is such a good quality of life to getting a lot of tasks done. We've got a fair few points still in the kitty, about 1,000, I believe. So we've got a lot of ammunition to make sure this goal comes to fruition. It's just going to be a matter of persistence. Unless Jagex wants to, update the game so this item isn't so ridiculous to obtain. In the meantime, we will deal with the hand that we are dealt and we'll make it happen. But for this video, I think we're going to be done for now. I'll keep pushing for the heart over time, but we've still got a few other objectives we need to tick off first. So with that said, thank you for watching this video. I shall catch you in the next one, and hopefully my luck is a little better then.